Hey everyone, this is a quick video on atomic history and the Bohr model. I'm really going to focus on the Bohr model itself as opposed to the other areas of atomic history because that's what you tend to be tested on the most. But by the end of this lesson, you should be able to interpret data presented in the Bohr model diagram, so that's what we're focusing on today. And before you get going, if you struggled with the last lesson on atomic structure, please make sure to go back and review that before you start. So now let's just review atomic particles. So we have three basic particles. So these are our subatomic particles because they make up an atom itself. Our first one is a proton. Remember, it has a positive charge, so each one is a +1. And I will say protons... It's okay, buddy. Sorry, my son's going to start crying. Protons were discovered by Eugene Goldstein. Neutrons have a neutral charge, so they have a charge of 0. These were discovered by Sir James Chadwick, and these two are the ones that are in the nucleus. So these are the ones that compose the mass of your element. And then we've got electrons, which have a negative charge. Each have a negative charge. They do not contribute to the mass of the element, and they were discovered by J.J. Thomson. Again, protons and neutrons make up the nucleus of the atom, so the core of the atom. And then your electrons are arranged in orbitals around the nucleus, so these actually contribute to the volume of the atom, not the mass of the atom. So this, again, is just one of our historical models of the atom. So now let's talk about Bohr models. I will go ahead and tell you this is not our most current or up-to-date model of the atom, but this is the one that we focus on in physical science. The other one is more like physics-based, and we don't look at that one very much. We just understand concepts in chemistry, so you don't have to worry so much about the current model of the atom. So we've got Bohr model, and this is or was coined by the physicist Niels Bohr, and he proposed that electrons on an atom had a fixed amount of energy, and with that fixed amount of energy, they moved around the nucleus in specific orbitals. And we look at these energy levels around the nucleus, and they kind of build out from the nucleus, so the further you are away, the more energy you need to be there. There are only a set number of electrons per orbital or per level that you can have, and they're usually drawn as circles around the nucleus. For this class in particular, we're only going to look at the first 4 shells of the Bohr model. So on those shells, we can have, for the first shell, you can only have 2 electrons. The second shell can hold 8. The third can hold up to 18, and the fourth can hold up to 32. And this is what a Bohr model looks like. So we've got those concentric circles around the nucleus where we've added electrons onto them. Now, when you're drawing them, obviously they won't move like this, but this is just an idea of what they look like. So now let's go ahead and do this example problem. So we're going to draw the Bohr models for hydrogen and nitrogen. The first step is to figure out the total number of electrons for each element in this example. So for hydrogen, we've got 1 electron because remember, they're equal to the number of protons because they do not have charges. These do not have charges up here. And then nitrogen, we have 7 electrons. That should be electrons. Then we follow the number chart on that last slide to show us how many can go on each orbital. So for hydrogen, there we go. For hydrogen, we should have the first circle, and it only gets 1 electron because we only have 1 to deal with. And then for nitrogen, we put our first circle. Remember, it can only hold 2, so we put 2 on there. You can either partner them up or you can like separate them opposite. I tend to separate them out because I like to see symmetry on those, but it's really up to you. And then the second circle can hold up to 8. Well, it only has 7. We used 2, so we have 5 left. So you put 5 on the second circle. Now, I want you to try for neon and aluminum. So pause the video and try those.